Hello and welcome to the Eternal Connection Show on blogtalkradio.com. My name is Daniel Feint and I'll be the host for the next 15 minutes. Today we're talking about a breakthrough and exploring the ideas of what a breakthrough is, what prevents us from making a breakthrough in our life, how it can benefit us, and why oftentimes we maybe get caught up in doubt and worry or even fear about what prevents us from expanding our comfort zone into areas that we truly want to expand and things to happen in our lives. So we're going to look at all that. So what is possible in life? What are the possibilities that are available? It's been termed as a menu, things that we want to have happen in life or select from as experiences to have. Basically, if that menu is one page that we look at, and that's all that we see, we may not recognize the next page of the menu, which has a lot more options in it, because we just haven't gotten to that breakthrough to see more options. I feel it's a gradual process to expand in a little bit at a time, just to be able to, for lack of better words, cope with the ideas and the changes of getting out of a default or a normal situation. Now, this is something that I've been exploring in my life because I want to expand in certain areas, have some different experiences. I got this notion in my mind, well, what if the next 40 years are completely the same day to day, and just trying to be grateful for the day-to-day experience. But and there's something to be said for that, and it is, I don't know, I have to figure out the best way to explain this from what I'm trying to say here. One direction that we could go in this conversation is about the idea of directions and taking steps in that direction. I guess the idea of going from A to Z, say for example there's points linear on a line, or in traveling somewhere to a certain destination or experience, we first have to have the courage to go from A to B. And then once we are comfortable enough at point B, then we can go to C. But metaphorically, we can't go from A to Z. And even if we did get to Z eventually, I feel that the process from going through the different steps of the process, for lack of better terms, should be an enjoyable process. Because if I'm miserable on the entire time of trying to expand and reach a certain goal, that being miserable is just going to be carried with me even if I get to that goal or situation that I want to happen. So is it required to have a feeling of aliveness, a feeling of excitement, of gratitude while things are happening? I could throw out the idea of fake it till you make it, but I recognize that thoughts have a lot of power, and maybe fake it till you make it isn't being authentic, but if the idea of affirmations are true, and if words have power to have an effect on what happens in perception of said reality, then I think that that's valid. I don't know if it can be turned on like a light switch to be all of a sudden excited about something, but if I'm not excited about something, then that means that there's a possibility that's not something I really, really want. It's just something that I think I can have, which is cool, but it doesn't have that aliveness as to what expansion and breaking through from a comfort zone requires, I feel. Now let's explore the ideas of hope, faith, and knowing. Um, if we have hope, it'll lead to faith in the unseen, which will lead to a knowing that we can do what we're setting out to do, that it's possible. On the other hand, if we give up hope, there's a really good chance that even if doors open and we don't even have to break through, but it's just a clear path right ahead of us, that we won't take it because it's something that we just, in our mind, feel that it couldn't happen and we won't move forward. So what is the formula for having a breakthrough? If there is a formula, I think it's a combination of having hope and faith and a knowing that it's possible, to have an alive feeling, to take action steps towards what needs to be done, as well as to just not give up and be persistent, yet know that there may be some obstacles or challenges to get through. That's the whole idea of a breakthrough, is to overcome the challenges and the obstacles in life. Honestly, I'm not an expert on this at all. Right now, I had to pause the recording. I do pre-record the shows. They're broadcast live, but I had to pause the recording because one of my neighbors is vacuuming, and it's driving me up the wall. It's like a dentist drill or something. But I'm following through, and I'm having a breakthrough as to finish recording this show to broadcast it. That could be an example. But like I said, I'm not an expert in this. Maybe I can set goals and achieve them sometimes. Ultimately, I just wanted to explore this topic of breakthroughs because I feel that it'll be beneficial for me, and I hope it's beneficial for you guys too. There's something to be said about showing grace to oneself, especially in this culture. It's easy to beat yourself up if things don't turn out perfectly. It's okay if I get really upset that there's vacuuming in the background of this recording, and I just don't want to be so hard on myself or others, ideally. But even if I am and I get upset and I don't follow through with something, then I need to have compassion with that and just think that it's not the absolute end, it's not the omega, it's just an end and there will be another beginning, and I can have that hope and that faith and hopefully a knowing that maybe one day certain things, whether you call them dreams or goals or aspirations or experiences that you want to have happen, that they will happen. And let's get into the idea of gratitude. Should I be grateful for every experience throughout the day? Is that possible? There's a certain amount of time from the time we wake up to go to sleep that if we want to make progress in a certain direction, I guess we can do that. But there's other things that may happen. I mean, there's situations that are out of our control. I could point towards the serenity prayer about hope and knowing that I have the wisdom to discern what's within my control and actions that I can take on that, and the things that are out of my control, and to be at peace with that. That's an aspect of this, I think, that would have serenity or peace of mind through the process and to make life an enjoyable experience. I mean, there is a quote-unquote alpha and omega, which is the time we're born to the time we die. We only have a certain amount of time in this physical form. To look at it from a spiritual sense then, what if regardless of whether things happen or not, it still doesn't devalue us in any way. I mean, we're created as divine creations. We're created in the image of God. And even if I don't become a multimillionaire or marry a supermodel or drive a BMW, as this culture tries to feel that we need to have in this life, that's okay, and I'm still worthy of life and love and all good things in a spiritual sense, just as much as everybody else is. It's the great equalizer, in my opinion, that regardless of social or economic status, that we're all human, that we're all trying our best. At least I think so. I don't know. But yeah, that's one aspect of this. So I guess I'll take some time to tell you what's going on in current events for me. I'm in the process of deleting, or copying and pasting, and then deleting all the posts and notes that I put on my Facebook page to put it together for another paperback book. If you're interested in my paperback books, you can go to lululu.com or Amazon. Some of them are overpriced on Amazon, but you can look at that. As well, I have a YouTube channel and this radio show on iTunes, a blog on WordPress.com, and some other fun stuff. But if you want to search any of that, just search Daniel and my last name, Feindt, F-E-I-N-D-T, so you can check out some of my artwork or recordings or writings. I've done some sonnets, a couple hundred sonnets, and a lot of prose as to just description of life in my humble opinion. So if you want to check that out. But I think I'm glad that I explored the idea of breakthroughs today, and I hope this radio show has been helpful for you, or just entertaining to listen to. That's my hope. Anyway, and I don't know what else to say. Maybe you're at a time in your life where things are going great for you. Maybe you're down in the dumps and feel that life is horrible. We all experience these things, and maybe it's a breakthrough just to feel good for an hour during the day. Maybe it's a breakthrough to win the lottery, and that happens. I really don't know. That's what life is about. Sort of like the neighbor in the background who's screaming outside his door, and that it's disrupting my recording. But hey, these things happen. There's people who just feel the need to vacuum and scream at the top of their lungs and just not be considerate. And I have a right to say that, and I have a right to be compassionate and show grace to people who like to scream while vacuuming and all that fun stuff. So anyway, I guess that's about it. I really appreciate you listening to this show. Sorry that I haven't been broadcasting regularly. Things have just been sort of an exploration in themselves, so I have something to report when I do broadcast the radio show. But I wish you guys all the best. I hope that you acknowledge and recognize your divine worth, and regardless if you have breakthroughs or if you don't, that you just feel good about who you are, because I think that that's a breakthrough in itself, is just love who we are and be gentle with ourselves. So I'll leave it on that note. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.